Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Rising Light, the podcast that talks content creation and brings on some of the rising stars within the space. I'm your host, Intrepidus1, aka Trep, because most people can't fucking pronounce my name. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, NLH Kitsune, aka Kit.
Because people can't pronounce my name.
Yeah.
Hi, folks.
Again, this week, I had a couple people in mind for being guests, and
we need to have a guest next episode.
We've
gone too long
busy.
With that one.
They were busy, so it's like fuck it. We'll just go with that one. But yeah, we do need a guest. So there you go. If you are wanting to be on, then let us know. More specifically, let me know. Like, just tweet at me. Yo, Brett, fucking get me on that podcast. For anybody who does join my chat live, we are both live. So if you want to go on over to Kit's stream and see what he's doing whilst we are talking through the podcast, then there you go. There's a link in my chat for you. As per usual, the song we came into was part of the planned songs. It was Dear I, if I'm remembering correctly. I've closed the tab already, but as per usual, we have part of the plan here. Cody, the guy in the middle, aka Wraithbound, has been on the podcast before. He was here on episode 4 of season 1, all those many months ago, about a year and a half ago at this point. So you want to go and show him and the band some support, do exclamation point Cody in my chat and exclamation point OP. As you can see, if you're here live, you can follow Cody on his personal Twitter, which is Cody J Weldon, his streamer one, which is WraithboundCA. You can also follow the band on Twitter, which is at POTP_band. Again, Twitch, WraithboundCA, if you want to go and follow him. Plays a lot of Destiny, and used to play a lot of Risk of Rain, but I haven't really been able to catch one of his streams recently, so I don't know whether he still plays that. But the other command, the POTP, is the one that you really want if you enjoy the music. There's a link there to the Spotify discography, and they have a stance like clip from Rafe himself when he was on the podcast, like their stance on people using their music. So, long story short, creators have permission. They love to see what people come up with using their music. So, if you are a content creator in any way, shape, or form, they basically have the attitude of have at it. Let us see what you can come up with, kind of thing. So, with that being said, normally we would just move on to the topic now, right? And I said to Kit about 10 minutes before we started, this week I'm going to do something a little bit different. Because...
yeah, that's as far as I got, so I have no idea what's coming now.
So last weekend, the new episode as it stands, which was episode 39, was released to my YouTube channel, right? And normally we maybe get like 4, 5, 6 people who watch the video, or at least register it as a view on the video for the podcast, anywhere from 1 to 10, right? Last week, for some reason, it skyrocketed and went up to 50. And in my analytics, it says it was getting recommended in the wrong, like, recommendations, which probably explains why they only watched like 1 to 4 minutes of video when it's an hour and 48 minutes long.
Yeah.
But the point is, I wanted to outline that anybody that does watch the videos, we appreciate it. I very much appreciate it, because obviously at the moment it is on my channel. As you can see there, I have got a fucking caustic short that took off as well. Just 600 and odd views. And then my new series that's just came out yesterday, which is like trying to help people get into Apex, and I explain it in that anyway. So if you want to go and watch that, go and watch that. But now we'll get into the topics. I just wanted to show that little bit of appreciation to everybody that does, you know, listen on the podcast platforms, watch it on YouTube, and doesn't like just say fuck it, I missed them doing it live, I'm not gonna check it out, kind of thing. So kind of like an appreciation for you guys who sit there and listen and watch. There you go. Right, first topic. Twitch has done away, or is doing away, with host mode. I can't remember when it's actually going away. Soon,
October
right?
3rd.
October 3rd. There. So
Yeah.
it is soon.
It says right there in the
Oh yeah, at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first question. What's changed with host mode and when?
Yeah.
So go on.
I was just gonna say, like, honestly, I have two opinions on this. Yeah, one is most people don't use fucking host mode anyway, so there's no point in it. It going is a good thing. It means that whatever, you know, resources on Twitch's side are dedicated to handling me hosting somebody else can go to something else and maybe make raiding a whole lot more like of an experience, a better, like, for both the receiver and the one doing the raid. Or even, you know, they leave raiding completely as it is and they use the whatever resources are there currently handling host mode and allocate it elsewhere to make the site experience better for like creators and viewers. Like right now, I've just noticed this week that my like Twitch website has updated to it on my left hand side where it says like my followed streamers. I can now allocate how I want to see those ordered, whether it's like low to high viewers, if I want to see it ordered like alphabetically or whatever. At the same time, with the auto host feature obviously making use of hosting, and it says here it'll be changed to suggested channels in your channel settings. Does that mean that my suggested channels, if I'm not live and you're live, you're on my suggested channels, but you will go up there. Will it randomly pick one from my suggested channels if
So
like 3 of you are live? Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's the case, fine. If it's just basically doing away with the whole auto host thing completely, I think that's a missed opportunity, because of the simple fact that there might be a case where someone's like, oh, I missed Trep's stream today, but let's see who he raided. Oh, he raided Kit? Let me go and watch Kit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so I think what they're going to do with it is it's basically going to behave the same as your list of the sort of auto host channels do now when auto host is turned off or not running.
oh,
So if you go to someone's profile and they've not streamed for a while, or they've got someone in their auto host list. Let's say me and you are both in the auto host list, right? But they're not active. They're not currently hosting anyone from that list or otherwise. You'll have like a little panel that says username recommends these channels, and then you'll have like the profile images with the names associated tagged underneath. I think it's just going to be that, but instead of having it there when host mode isn't running.
oh, here you go.
It's just there.
It explains it anyway here at the bottom. It will basically go at the carousel. Their stream will appear on the in the carousel at the top of your page.
Yeah.
You can also display your suggested streamer list in your streamer shelf.
Right. Okay.
In that case, it's basically just doing away with a command that nobody uses when you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. Now, when people have issues, like earlier this year, Civics had an issue where anytime somebody raided, it would crash his stream, and so he turned raids off. You could only host him. Like, this is going to be an issue. You know, you can't host anymore, but at the same time, it's like I can turn around and say, look, shout out Civics in my chat, say, look, everybody go over there, go on, over there. And then we just type into his chat that I've raided, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I just don't think that's going to have the same effect.
Closer to like a drive-by type of raid.
Yeah.
Rather than literally using the raid mechanism, which is a bit annoying if those sort of things are required, because
apparently they're adding an actual
breaks things.
Apparently they're adding an actual Twitch shout out command on, like,
yeah,
right there.
Apparently they are. Yeah.
So I don't need SO. I will be keeping SO because it's shorter. Thanks, Twitch.
Yeah.
But no thanks.
I've got SO as well, and I'm going to keep that. But it's because like that's controlled by the bot or whatever else, and we can have it trigger different things rather than just the general shout out thing is just basically.
I mean, like I said, overall, I think getting rid of it, it might, if it's taking up some sort of resources on Twitch's side that they can allocate elsewhere, good. Like, if not, there's literally no point in getting rid of it, but there's also no point in keeping it around. Like, no one uses it. So I'm essentially indifferent. Now that I've found out, you know, that suggested channels is going to work basically the same as what AutoHost does anyway, then whatever.
Just without the actual hosting, yeah.
Yeah. It's basically going to make it so that the viewers that are watching through your channel aren't going to count.
Yeah.
So, which is good, because they shouldn't count anyway. They should have to click that link to go through to the suggested person channel.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that being said, we're going to move on to the new Xbox noise suppression.
Yep. So, like you have on PC with things like RM noise and crisp.
Yeah.
And some of the Zoom ones kind of use crisp, but differently. Headsets on Xbox Series S and Series X will have noise suppression available as a software feature in the dashboard.
Hell yeah! Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Xbox noise suppression is similar to Discord's crisp audio filters and Nvidia's impressive broadcaster app that allows players to filter out background noise.
Yeah.
There you go. It'll make people who are just starting off streaming and streaming directly from their console, you know, have better quality streams at least.
Yeah. It also gives parity to the party feature that they've added.
Yeah.
So do you know the added thing where you can join a Discord call or channel from your Xbox? Kind of a slightly wonky way to actually do it, but once you're connected, you're in. It then means that everyone who's in that call is going to have something to deal with any background.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair though, like coming from console, near enough 2 years ago now, I don't see why we're waiting this long for noise suppression. You know what I mean? In fact, let's get things right. I have been on PC 1 year and like 9 months.
Yeah.
So, because my affiliate anniversary was 2-3 days ago, and I completely missed it.
I've missed mine by a few months.
But yeah, so like, I can tell you now, like, if everything goes according to plan for the next year, my 3rd year anniversary is going to be a banger. I'm telling you now. But I'll talk about that more close to the time. I just think it's stupid that we're waiting that long, to be honest. But yeah, and I could never go back to like Xbox mics, even with that, considering like the freedom I have with mine. So right, according to moving on to Ninja dropping Twitch exclusivity.
Yeah. And we sort of talked about, I can't remember if it was the last episode or the episode before, that Twitch were allowing sort of multi-streaming to Twitch and to one of the more platforms like TikTok or Instagram. He's sort of taken this into his own hands and gone, no, I'm going to stream to other places simultaneously. And when the image there is everywhere.
He's not partnered with them anymore, though, right?
No, he isn't. Which is why he can do this and he's doing this. But yeah, there's 6 platforms at once.
So I mean, with the fact that he's not like partnered with them anymore, so therefore he's not under that same exclusivity thing that we discussed when we talked about this like the ability to do this. Good. Like do you get your content out everywhere, allow your fans to engage with it, like wherever they choose to engage with it, right? Which I'm telling you now, a good 90% of them for Ninja are going to probably be on Twitch anyway, right? But
yeah,
this thing about after seemingly staging a sudden hiatus, I will comment on this because this is something I'm fucking struggling with myself and have been for many years, right? And I've only just started making steps to sorting it out. He turned around and tweeted out that he was going to take a hiatus from streaming and content creation due to his mental health. And then all of a sudden, a week later, he's making this massive ass announcement that he's not going to sign a deal with any of the big platforms, and he wants to stream on all of them at once. Like it was some sort of marketing thing for him to just say, "Oh, I'm disappearing for a bit." Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that you include, "Oh, I'm taking a break for my mental health," and then like come back as if fucking nothing happened, and you're just making this announcement. Like happy go lucky. It's sketchy as fuck, and I'm sorry, but any ounce of respect I had for Tyler, Ninja, Blevins has gone out the fucking window. So moving swiftly on, because otherwise I will keep
going.
Fucking going on that.
Yeah.
I will make it to where if there was ever, I will make it to where there was ever a shadow of a chance of me actually meeting him, he'll hate me before he even spoke to me. So we'll move on before that I carry on.
Yeah. So this guy, 18 Sam, he decided to basically play and complete every Nintendo 64 game that you can get your hands on.
Damn.
Every single one of them. So he played through
296
games over 5 years. And his collection began in 2009 after selling a couple of them and then realising, no, I want to go back and play all these.
Yeah, he felt heartbroken to part way with games of his childhood. Bruh. That's like right now, yeah. Underneath my Xbox One, it's just sat there gathering dust, by the way, because I don't fucking touch it. I have Xbox 360 games. I have the first ever Final Fantasy that I bought myself, which was Lightning Returns. So yeah, it was fairly new Final Fantasy, but it was the first one I'd bought, and I got it sat there. I have the collector's edition Halo 3 ODST. I have all the Halo games because they were like my games on Xbox throughout my entire teenage years.
Yeah.
I have the first ever collector's edition Call of Duty that I bought, which was COD Ghosts with the little wristband thing and the metal. It was the hardcore edition. It wasn't the actual big edition that got a RCXD or whatever the fuck it was. The expensive as shit. It was the £80 edition, right? So, but it was my first one that I bought that wasn't just a standard one. It's also the first one I bought for myself. And then I've got the last ever Call of Duty I bought up until I started buying them digitally, which was Black Ops 4.
Right.
So, and then I've got one game that I have not even played on my Xbox 360 that's under there, that's an Xbox 360 game. And that's because when I played it on PS2. And if I tell you I was Blacklist 3 by the time I stopped playing it, I should give you a rough idea of what game it is. And if nobody knows, it is Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2005 version. One of the rarest games on Xbox 360 because nobody will fucking sell it.
Yeah.
So I completely understand where he's coming from when he says, collected his childhood essentially. So
I watched a video recently about the Need for Speed series.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realise actually is that Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2005 one.
Yeah.
Was actually the third most wanted.
Yep.
And then the much more recent one was the fourth. We don't talk about the
What
fourth.
most people don't realize as well is after Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, it basically ceased to be Need for Speed and was basically glorified Burnout, because it was the Burnout team that was making the games. But Burnout was the less successful of the two franchises, so EA had them make Need for Speed. Which is why if you play the newer like Hot Pursuit and Hot Pursuit Remastered, and any of the like Need for Speeds that look, you know, like Need for Speed like Hot Pursuit and stuff, and like you're taking out like the cops and stuff, and it says like takedown or whatever. If you look and then look at like Burnout Paradise City, it's basically the same thing at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because they obviously
essentially,
with the
they essentially,
same team.
they essentially merged the two franchises, which is, to be honest, what turned me away from Need for Speed. Alright, that being said, let's go move on to the Dexterto tweet about Mizkif.
Ah, yes.
Firstly, I want to say that this clip, after like watching it, makes it seem like he's saying like don't give streamers money, period. And what he actually means is that, you know, he like many other like massive Leviathan sized Twitch streamers don't need the cash because they have other means through like sponsorships and shit that they, you know, make their money. So whilst they appreciate all the bits and subs and gift subs, etc., him doing a very slow, it's in the tweet, very low month is 108,000. I'm telling you now, as an affiliate, I would kill for that to be as my like monthly payout. Like,
yeah. And the thing is that I sort of noticed after we decided to talk about this actually, is that while he says that that is a very however many varies low month, right?
Yeah.
Basically, he's done very few streaming hours.
Yeah.
Significantly less than you would normally do in each month, right? Any of the like swathes of recurring subscriptions and stuff will happen no matter how many hours you're on.
Exactly.
So I'd imagine a good chunk of this amount is more weighted towards the amount of subscriptions revenue that he's got compared to things like ad revenue and like bits and gifts and stuff like that. Because if people aren't watching it, they're not going to use their bits with you. They're not going to gift subs unless they're gifting their mate for something else or something.
Yeah.
But if they've got their own sub, they're probably not going to let it lapse if you do fewer hours that month.
Yeah. So like, it says here on the tweet below it, right? According to Twitch stat tracker Sully Gnome, the streamer only went live for 73 hours, meaning he averaged about 1.4 thousand $62 an hour. Right? I can do 80 hours in a month. In fact, 2 or 3 months ago, I was doing 90 to 100 hours in a month and was not even getting over $100. So just to give you some disparity there between an affiliate that, you know, is making the start essentially on that journey. Like I said, my affiliate anniversary was 2 years. Of 2 years was a couple, like 5 days ago, right?
Mhm.
But that's beside the point. Like, everybody grows at a different rate. I could have been a partner right now if I'd got very fucking lucky. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But at the same time, to give you the disparity between someone who is basically at the bottom of like the Twitch payout system in an affiliate that's just like managing essentially, someone like me, and obviously Kit, you've just come back to streaming today.
Yeah.
Right? We will never probably see that amount of revenue a month, let alone that per hour. You know what I mean? Ideal example is that is probably around £1.2 thousand. I'm not 100% certain, so don't put me on that. But it's
it'll vary depending on
it'll be around about the same amount, right?
But it'll be approximately, yeah.
Yeah. That is what people earn a month in this country. And he's earned it per hour. When I tell you that he's living the dream, he's living the fucking dream. But as I said, in the clip, he says, donate it elsewhere. And I think I actually commented on this, and somebody I was like, this clip makes it seem like you're saying don't donate it to him, like don't donate it to any streamer. And then in actuality, he was saying like somebody who watches Mizkif like says, oh no, he's always saying in his streams like, go and find a smaller streamer, donate to them, it'll make their world. You could be the difference between them getting a payout this month and not. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Like he's apparently really that like down to earth in that sense. So good shit, Mizkif. We like us lower down the pecking order guys. We very much appreciate someone like you doing it, especially since you probably earned that already, that 108,000 in a fucking partnership deal somewhere. Anyway, so you live in life sort of thing. Do you, my guy? But alright. With that being said, we'll move on to something on the opposite end of the spectrum, where a Twitch streamer lost over 100,000 followers after she got a false ban for impersonating herself.
There is a little bit of context to this one. Leading up to this, she was having issues with people impersonating her.
Right.
So what's happened is Twitch has gone through and banned a load of accounts that were impersonating her, and she's got caught up in the list somehow.
I'm sorry, but with a username like ZepplerHQ, how the fuck does she get caught up somehow? Like, surely all the impersonations are gonna be like Z3, ZEPI, ZPI, whatever, like LP1. Like, do you know what I mean? They're gonna be like numbers instead of the letters in the first part of a name, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, whatever after the HQ. Like, come on, Twitch. How the fuck does this happen?
Not to mention that, like, if you were to bother looking at the profile, you'd see that that one is the partner.
Yeah. And the fact that she has, you know, so many fucking followers.
And so many followers, yeah. Yeah, so it's gone from about 250,000 down to just shy of 150. Although it's gone even further down.
That's mad.
So 78.5k.
Gets banned and hasn't been streaming for 5 days.
Yeah.
For 5 days. Surely there's some sort of back end. I'm sorry.
Twitch were pretty quick to unban her, but
but surely there's some sort of back end thing where it notifies her partner manager, and then her partner manager can go, okay, no, that's wrong, and it just goes through the system on automated unbans her. So she might have been banned for like 1 day, but that's it. Come on now.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying, is that she was banned for 1 hour and some minutes.
An hour?
Yeah.
So why was she not streaming for 5 days?
No. That's what she's saying. Is that when she was banned, it wasn't like she hadn't done a stream in 5 days.
Okay. She'd been like away from. I
Yeah.
get it. Okay, that is.
So
dumb.
if you scroll down to where the tweet is, so you've gone past it. But it just said, "Why did I get banned while I wasn't even streaming since last week?"
Yeah.
And you look the
Has been banned for an hour.
An hour, 8 minutes and 36 seconds.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Alright.
But that length of time is more than enough for it to just drop off people's following list because they're
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking for a way to segue from this, to be honest.
Oh, there is one.
I mean, there is, but it's going to be a stretch.
Go on then. Let's hear this stretch.
Alright, so going from somebody who got banned for impersonating herself and lost followers to a story that basically means that if, you know, those followers were under a certain age, she wouldn't even have them in the first place. Or shouldn't have them in the first place.
Okay.
There's the stretch.
That is certainly a stretch.
So this is from my my ex-flatmate, Carl Thulu. You wanna go and follow their Twitch? You can see Elder Carl Thulu. There you go, on screen. So Carl Thulu is a VTuber, so obviously interacts with a bunch of other VTubers. And I seen this tweet the other day from it stating, you know, minors, please stop engaging with 18 plus creators. There's plenty of other creators out there, big and small, safe for work, not safe for work. You just need to stop picking the wrong ones for everyone's sake, right? Now this is on the back of somebody that it follows and obviously interacts with, a VTuber by the name of Mrs. Mummy. It literally says in her Twitter name, LewdTuber. So, you know, that implies that it's an 18 plus and not safe for work, not safe for minors. And that they shouldn't basically anybody under the age of 18, she doesn't want them watching her, and they probably should be watching. And for anybody that is here live, please say thank you to Ronin for the tier 1 sub to me for the 25th month. Holy shit. But yeah, so I just had to acknowledge that. I apologize for podcast platforms and YouTube, but I had to. Ronin's the boy. Awesome fucking dude. And whenever he gets back streaming, you have to go and fucking follow him.
The man.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know what I mean.
But yeah.
But yeah, so
we do love Ronin in these parts.
Yeah, so it turns out one of her mods was under 18. And so she thought she would let her community know and ask minors to stop engaging with 18 plus content creators. She doesn't have time to harass people for personal information and will always assume that somebody is of age if you're engaging with her. Right, so the only thing I can see from this is that essentially there was a video made that included some form of proof that this Baldo was not 18, and therefore obviously she DM'd Miss Baldo saying got bad news, the video, and she's gonna have to block him, you know, making her stance clear that she doesn't support anyone being under 18 in her chat, which she perfectly within her rights to do on her channel, right?
Yeah.
She's disappointed that he would risk, or this Valdo, I said he, but I don't want to like assume, would risk me getting into serious trouble over this, and Valdo just responds with, I'm sorry. So obviously he's accepting, yep, okay, I am under 18, I accept it. And then she's obviously blocked him. I responded to Carl's tweet on this, stating that part of the reason why I make my content on Twitch and YouTube to where you have to sort of be signed into an account and have to like click that you understand that it's mature content is because I swear a lot. And as a parent myself, I understand that some parents don't want their 13 to 18-year-olds to be exposed to swearing. Like, my son, personally, he's nearly 10, right? So, really, I don't want him swearing, right? And I do swear around him, admittedly, right? But it's just generally part of my vocabulary. And I've made my fiance understand that. So she sometimes, when I go like, oh, fuck, like, she'll go, come on, man. And I'll be like, shit, sorry. And then, because I've actually, there you go, I just did it. Shit, sorry. Like that, I do that, right? To the point where, as my son's got older, I've made him understand what words are good and bad and what he shouldn't be saying, right? So, as I said here, as a result, I've taught my son the swear words. So he knows what is and is acceptable for him to listen to. So, he'll watch YouTube videos, and if he hears swearing in it, he'll turn it off. Because throughout the younger years of his life, if we heard him listening/watching a YouTube video that had swearing in it, we'd tell him to turn it off. Sometimes now, he catches it, I don't catch it, and I'm like, oh, didn't you like that video? He's like, no, it swore. I was like, oh, okay. And he's turned it off. Obviously, as a parent, as his dad, I am proud as fuck of him doing that. Yeah? But
yeah,
my point is, some people, like, when a content creator says something like, please don't interact with me if you're under 18, respect it. Don't be, like, as much as you might want to watch their streams if you really want to, but don't definitely don't apply to be one of their mods. Holy.
Yeah, because that's the lead I was going to follow, is that this isn't just someone who was like in the chat for a bit. This is someone who was in their chat, constantly engaging, enough to be trusted and given a mod position.
So there you go. And it's not like us as content creators should have to turn around to people and say, right, if you want to be a mod to me, you're gonna have to Discord me a picture of your passport or your driving license, your birth certificate. Do you know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't have to do that.
No.
I mean, case in point, all my mods are people I fucking know and trust and know are like of the age that where, if I turn around to you and say, oh, fucking cunt, I'm joking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then I was like, so I also put here, look, I wish we could trust others to do this, but we can't. And even though Twitch has a 13 plus policy, as in you have to be 13 to be on this platform, right? You have to be 13 to make an account. I have seen in people's chats, people say that their date of birth is where they are like 11 or 12, right? If you... Or they've said, oh, I'm 15, but I've had... And then their account's like age, if you click on their name, says that they've had their account for 2.5 years. Like, it's like, motherfucker, you had your account when you was 14? What?
Yeah. And like there was someone who
not 14, 12, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there was someone who was it either affiliate or was applying for partnership.
I can't remember.
And like I
think I know what you were talking about.
They were currently old enough to have the account and to stream, but when they created the account like 3.5, 4 years ago, they weren't.
Exactly.
And had it dropped.
And the account got banned, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, think so. It was quite a few episodes ago we did talk about it.
Yeah. But yeah, so if and so I basically said, look, if the 12 years and under people are switching their fucking date of birth to be able to create accounts to be on the platform when they really shouldn't be under Twitch's rule, right? I can't say I'm surprised that there are under 18s watching and interacting with 18 plus streamers. Like, do you know what I mean? And I just left it at that. But which obviously he liked all of it and said, you know what, I completely, like, essentially saying he completely agrees. It completely agrees. Again, I've known Carl for 15 years and only recently came out as being non-binary. So it is. We've discussed this before on the podcast. I'll switch between it showing Carl the fucking what's it called, the respect by using its proper pronouns. Yeah, I have to slow myself down when I'm about to say it. But I will also switch between like saying he, him, like, because I've even said it in Carl's chat, like, I apologize that sometimes I actually do like gender you and stuff like misrepresent that you are non-binary and your pronouns are it.
It's
And
why
he
I
fuck.
Sorry, I was going to say it's
Carl
why I have the pronouns. Obviously, we've got the pronouns extension. That's why I've got it in the list of the sort of suggested extensions in my chat command.
Yeah.
So in my chat, we've got exclamation extensions. I think it's extensions.
I might need to nick that from you.
Yeah. And it's just it's only a little bit of text that just says, use
I can see it. I've got your chat open
and stuff. But then I've got the link to the page that's just got these are the ones I use. Here's how you can get them set up.
But yeah, so but Carl has acknowledged, it's going to take some time for people who have known it for years to like switch. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Carl has said to me that it doesn't see it as disrespect when I say he or him. They just say, like, Carl just says, look, you know me years. I know the difference, like, between like you disrespecting and it's just a slip of the tongue. You're used to it, kind of thing. So, actually, Carl is someone I want to get on here at some point because that episode would probably be hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
we'll get that arranged. For
and not long.
Maybe not the next one because it's probably fairly short notice. But
yeah.
Sometime soon. To get
well, Carl also IRL works like a weird hours job, so I might have to like work around that. So
okay.
Anyway,
that's fine. I mean, we've done that before.
Yeah.
Worked around the hours for our guests, so you can just accommodate.
I'm watching ads for you right now.
Sorry.
It's good, bro. I've just had mine 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. There's probably another 20 seconds of them.
But yeah, so with that being said, let's move on to the next one, which is a watermelon explosion.
Yeah. So last episode we had a hot tub explosion that ended up ruining a streamer setup. And this time we have a watermelon explosion. Why do people just keep exploding things on stream?
Why do people think it's a good idea to have these things near their fucking setups? Like, water and a watermelon? Are you dumb?
Yeah. But like this one, you just got a watermelon. And you know that thing, you put rubber bands on and then it sort of squishes it and you keep putting more on. And it's past this article says it's like playing the game of Buckaroo. Like it's going to go at some point, but you don't know which particular rubber band it is that's going to do it until it does just like sort of crush the middle bit and sort of explode out everywhere. However, the kept adding so about 220 rubber bands before it appeared to struggle under the fresh and Saturday juice. Put on a few more and then it exploded. But obviously, it's not just like it's not like if you had bread suddenly like
There's a video.
chunks. Yeah, it's not like if you had chunks of bread suddenly everywhere.
She did herself.
Yeah. Well, she's there, she's putting it on, and then it just suddenly.
Oh, she
Yeah.
fucking shit herself. That's funny.
But like, I
love how
imagine
it is.
some of it was probably just because of how much liquid is in the watermelon. Some of it is just like
Yeah.
now you've got a camera that reeks of watermelon and has bits of like the juices and stuff like stuck to it. You know, like when you have like spilled a jam or something.
I love how it says like it's related to this situation here with the Twitch ban streamer for having sex, right? It says even more awkward situation. Another streamer was banned from Twitch for seemingly going to town with her partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the casualness of this article is just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, learn from their mistakes, people, and their rants. Don't put water in your stream room. Don't blow a fucking watermelon up in your stream room.
Yeah, if you're doing anything with water or that could make a mess, make sure that like you do it in a way that you can just like basically just like take a few corners, lift it up like a sheet or something, and then all of the mess is just on the inside of that sheet, and you can just either put it in the wash or toss up the entire sheet, and nothing else has got any residue or anything on it.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Especially if it's.
I mean, you can get them. You can get them little like. You can get them little like plastic fucking covers and shit. Syndicate did a video not too long ago where he blew up paint with fireworks in the house next door that he owns to his actual house, and he's turning that into some like content like streamer house essentially. Like his office is going in there and everything. Pretty cool plans that he's got. Obviously, it's going to take a couple years to do, but one of the things he was wanting to do was see if the whole thing in like cartoons where they blow open paint cans would actually work. So what he did was he put fireworks in a bucket of paint and blew them up in this bedroom. And but anything that he didn't want to get the paint on, you know, the floor
was covered or moved out the way, yeah.
And the blinds and stuff was covered up with a plastic clear like see-through sheet, and boom.
I mean, like, I get it, you can't exactly just wrap your PC in a plastic sheet.
Yeah.
If you're never streaming from it. But you can still get like a panel to put in between.
Yeah.
So the panel gets everything on it and not the PC.
Well, the other thing is as well is it didn't really save Syndicate's floor because, you know, the thrust and explosions of fireworks, it kind of like just moved the fucking shit out of the way. But the case in point is there are things that you can do to protect your shit.
So do them. Yeah.
I haven't got a fucking segue for this one, so we're just going to move swiftly on. I'm not even going to try. We've had one stretch.
Yeah, we've had a couple just sort of jump cuts. We've had a long stretch of a segue.
Yeah, and now we're just
back to the usual.
Giving up.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to try and stretch it anymore.
Anyway, YouTube now has a new page layout for channels, and it
looks really good.
It actually does. But they got more like.
I followed this guy purely off the back of seeing this. Okay, maybe I didn't, but I am now. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you've done the same thing I have. So we've got basically all of the videos and stuff around your channel on YouTube. is now going to be sort of split. So you'll have your long form content, you'll have your shorts, and you'll have a tab for live if you've got any live content. Like if your channel's configured for going live, then you'll have a tab for live, and that'll be where the streams and stuff are. And
I'ma say it. If YouTube had an affiliate ship type program, I would fucking move tomorrow. Please, YouTube, do something.
Yeah, the arrangement they have for ad revenue and donations and stuff is rather restrictive in terms of the entry requirements.
Mm.
So, what are we on next? Next tab.
Next topic is a frustrating reason why.
Okay, have you read any of this?
No.
No. Okay. Would you care to take a guess as to what it is?
Oh, actually, I did scroll down and see that it was DMCA.
Yes. Yeah.
DMCA.
DMCA. That music-related thing that.
You could randomly get 2 DMCA strikes for listening to Ariana Grande 2 years prior.
2 years prior, yeah. Like if you have content that spans that length of time, you're sort of very.
Do you know what I do find funny is out of the 4 of these people, only one I don't know is the one on the right. That's Saikuno. That's obviously Fuzi, and that's Valkyrie. And these 3 I know because they roleplay in GTA RP. Raymond, April Foos, and Psych is the name. I need to start watching GTA. That's all I can.
So yeah. So it's just saying in the article, she's explained that this scenario of like getting multiple strikes from old content, yeah, is a thing that has happened. So like she previously had 2 DMCA strikes issued 3 years after the DMCA breaking action. It's like a 3-year-old clip of that had some music in that was claimed on.
I don't think it should be like retroactive, to be honest. Like, I don't think creators should have had to have gotten rid of years of clips and streams and stuff.
See, the thing is that the way the DMCA was supposed to work, was that it doesn't really matter how old the content is. If it's on your site and a claim is made against it, and you don't have the rights to have it there, you've got to remove it. Because you'd have things like, let's say you've got one of those sites that shows free movies, for example, and you've got a film that's like 15 years old, but that's still worth protecting.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, who's paying for something like Disney Plus to watch Iron Man 1?
Well, yeah.
No one. Like, so if you can go online and find a free version, a free site that's just showing off Iron Man 1, what's the problem? Like, if somebody just feels like watching it, that's my, like, I think after a certain amount of time.
In realistic terms, yeah. And there are things like that for public domain stuff, but it's usually, I think it's 30 or 40 years.
Which is dumb, because...
Which is a long time for digital content.
Yeah. We've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. DMCA was outdated from the moment it came to be, and it's definitely outdated like 20 years later, as it is now. And it needs revisiting. the whole like system needs like revamping essentially, to where, you know, that kind of thing. The most it could the most it can be is 10 years, and I'd say 5 years is probably like, you can't listen to new music, for example, or watch new films, but you can listen to something that's like 5 years old.
I would say, depending on the use case. So I think the 30 years should stay as it is for like full content, because then after 30 years you'll have people like in archives and stuff storing it in online archives and stuff like that. That's fine. 30 years, no problem. If you were going for like short clips, like 20, 30 seconds, that should probably be like 10, 15 years. Anything other than that, you would use the same sort of fair use rules that we have now. And you know, is it just incidental, or are you using it for the purposes of review and stuff? But the way it currently is now, it's too
I'm on about like stuff like YouTube sniping montages, right? They're not the main body. The music that they put to them isn't the main body of the entertainment. It adds to the entertainment, right? Which is the editing and the clip that the particular like sniping montage YouTuber has managed to hit, right?
Yeah.
They should not, in my opinion, get DMCA'd for using that music, because it's just adding to the content. It's not the content. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it.
Here's where the way I phrased it before comes into play is that in that, yes, you could say it's transformative. It's using this to add value to another piece of work, but it isn't the main point of the work.
Yeah, and the same thing is with like streams and stuff.
It was still a conscious choice to use it. In cases where like you've got background music on streams, you go, okay, well, if you've got a curated playlist that you use, or you use music from a specific service, like I use Monster Cat, for example, because I like their music, so I listen to that. That those are like sort of conscious decisions. If you're, let's say, doing whatever you're doing and you've got someone outside playing music, yes, you could shut the window so that you don't hear it on the stream. But I would say that falls in.
I mean, people get fucking DMCA strike. Like,
I mean, we did have the stupid one with the siren.
Yeah, there's that. But what I'm on about is like going into, in a sense of like a multiplayer game, right? Somebody plays music down their mic in COD. Your fault. You go into GTA roleplay. Somebody accidentally plays music that DMCA. Your fault. Like, it's stupid. It just It needs overhauling. That's the long and short of it. And it needs to be more modernized for the fact that we are using music just to add to content. Like music in a stream, for example, as I'm like running around killing people on Apex. For my stream, it's just something there for you lot to listen to, like generally, right?
Yeah.
And it's on Spotify, and yeah, you could argue, well, I've got Spotify Premium, so and you haven't, then you would get ads, and therefore, boom, right? I'm losing them their ad money. Okay,
yeah.
Or whatever. Surely they have a system that registers. Oh, right, well, you've got Premium. We'll add money in, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It registers as if it plays an ad, but doesn't actually play an ad.
Yeah. So that and then that's taken sort of out with the cut. That sort of ad revenue that they would have otherwise gotten from the impression is just taken out of the pool of money that comes in from the subscription cost.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make though is like,
the
I shouldn't
that...
have to have it to where when I'm like watching a VOD back, if I'm singing along to a song, I can't fucking hear the song in the background. You know what I mean? Like, kind of dumb. Yeah. Kind of stupid.
It is a little daft, but then using the same analogy with the Spotify thing is that whether or not you get an ad, if they say for your you listening to it would get the ad or would get the cut of your subscription payment.
I'm nicking your command, by the way.
Yeah, if you've got 12 people watching you and they're listening to that music with you on the background of your stream, that's 12 other ad impressions or cuts of subscription revenue that they're not getting. Which is the way they look at it.
Yeah, which is just basically greedy.
Yeah.
Like the way I look at it,
you can say it's kind of greedy.
I'm not even joking, because you could turn around to people and go, oh well, like what if somebody shows your video on their stream and you don't get the ad revenue? I don't give a flying fuck. Like, you want to watch my video on stream, go right ahead. You know what I mean? I am not making anything extra from you showing, like, so ideal example, let's say my Apex series that I'm doing, yeah, where I'm my plan is to sort of show off key things that like bronze to silver to gold players, the earlier ranks, can use to get better at the game faster, to where a bronze will start bronze this season, end gold, but be able to play in plat lobbies. Yeah, and go on and succeed and end up probably being plat next season. Yeah, or next split. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, because you do if season. But...
Yeah, if somebody from the Mandem that has been playing Apex recently, which is part of the reason that I got inspired to do this series, was watching Sparky Kane, who plays SK, in is basically Sparky Kane in the Mandem, play Apex for the first time and not really get on with it, not understand the things when Adam, Chaos Adam. Bear in mind, these two are both partner streamers, so I'm not getting anything from mentioning their names or anything, right? Because even if people know who I'm talking about, like, they probably know them before they knew me. The point I'm like, he was a returning player and still had no idea that, putting your gun away makes you run faster. Like, little things about meta and like characters and stuff. How to, like, they're going into ranked games and asking, oh, how far does Seer's tactical go? Bro, you realize you can test this shit elsewhere in the game, but you're not throwing away your rank points, your RP, in rank. Like, playing a legend that you're not used to. You can get used to the legend and then play rank. You know that, right? So, like, it's just things like that. Like, I want to sort of give an introduction into the Apex, into, like, getting as high as you can possibly be, as fast as possible. So if one of them was to see, oh, right, well, there's this video on how, like, today, during my stream, I recorded how the Battle Pass works in Apex. Like, how do you level up the Battle Pass, right? If they was to see that, go, oh, I don't actually know how Apex's Battle Pass works. Let's watch this, put it up on their stream for, like, I'm telling you, Sparky had 200 people watching him play yesterday, but when he's on GTA, he has anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people watching him. In fact, at one point, he had 8K people watching him. Same with Adam, right? They are in a gang in NoPixel with Zerka, one of the sidemen. Like, they get views. Okay. Now, if they was to put my video up, I'm losing potentially 1,000 people could have watched my video, right? And I got like well, obviously I won't get the ad revenue because I'm not partnered with YouTube at all. But you know, let's say I was, and I'm losing all that ad revenue. Do I give a fuck? No, because I've gotten something out of it anyway. The exposure. Like, there's music that is out there that I wouldn't have known had I not heard it from other people. Case and point, Part of the Plan. Had Sev not played Part of the Plan on his stream with the permission from Wraith, and then Wraith started playing it on his own stream after that, I wouldn't know that Wraith was a singer in a band and that I would enjoy their fucking music. Because they're a local like, yes, they're a local band, and it's different when it comes to like comparing them to someone like, I know, Eminem, right? But at the same time, there are songs in my playlist that are like by Eminem that are, if he was to release them now, nobody would fucking buy the songs, buy the single, buy the fucking album, because they're derogatory and hateful, right? It's not because he is, it's the times are different, right? I was saying this to my missus yesterday. People have a double standard nowadays where they look back at old Eminem music and they say, oh no, you can't listen to that. He's talking about beating his mother and beating his wife, Kim, and doing drugs. But then they'll forget that someone like Chris Brown kicked the living shit out of Rihanna, and they're all for listening to his music. Like, do you know what I mean? And they'll forget that, what's his name? Triple X Tension or whatever, the guy who did the song, one of the like well-known songs with Post Malone. They'll forget that he died of a drug overdose, sadly. They're all for listening to his music, but they can't listen to Eminem because he's talking about, like, you know, they're all for listening to newer artists, basically, talk about doing drugs and actually being on drugs and shit, or doing like horrible shit like what Chris Brown did to fucking Rihanna. But you can't listen to Eminem's old music where he's talking about that kind of thing in the 90s because he was unfortunately on drugs and had to go to rehab and got clean. But also, you know, he's talking about potentially murdering his mother and his, at the time, wife, Kim. No, you can't have that. No, you can't listen to old music that at the time was acceptable but isn't anymore because society has evolved. But you can listen to new music where people are talking about doing drugs and shit. You know what I mean? And being on drugs and unfortunately dying of overdoses. Like, it's a double standard. Like, but that's my point. Is like old stuff like Eminem. Most people, I skip it on my playlist because of the fact that some of the things that he says in it, it can be seen as hateful. If somebody comes in, it can be, oh, I'm offended. Like, one, don't get offended by old music. It's not targeted towards you. It's just, you know, something that happened in their life at the time, and they were talking about it. And back then, the society was different. Like, sometimes Eminem, like, I cringe when I hear some of the Eminem lyrics where he's talking about, like, calling gay, like, people the F word. Like, I cringe. But at the same time, it's like, back when that song was first released, I was like, oh yeah, this song's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Because times were different. We, as a society, didn't know any better.
No,
and that doesn't make it right that that song was released. But at the same time, like, if it's a song that somebody enjoys and it's like 5 years old, like going back to the DMCA thing, then why should it be, you know, oh, well, no, not really any, there's not, the point I'm trying to like make with that is there's not really anybody who's going, oh, I heard this song, it's 5 years, like 5 years old, I'm just gonna go and like listen to the video repeatedly. I'm gonna listen to the stream repeatedly from that section just to listen to that song. No, half the time they hear a song in a stream and they go, oh shit, I forgot that song existed, add it to my playlist. And it ends up with you getting more view, like, we are giving it extra exposure. Do you know what I mean? And that is where I was going with the segue, by the way, Kit.
Oh boy.
Talking about exposure, alright? So we've all had this fucking this meme recently, like recent years, where, you know, there's a thing where a sponsor will come to you and be like, "Oh, do this for us and we'll pay you in exposure." Right? Or an artist, you go and do an art, like you go, you'll get an artist tweet out something along the lines of, "This streamer tweeted, like, DM'd me and offered to pay me in exposure," like, because they were basically saying, "Look, I'll promote your art on my channel if you let me have it for free," basically, right? So it's turned into a big ass fucking meme, and at this point, it's gone too far. Right? Recently, it came out that there are negotiations going on between teams in the ALGS and EA about, like, org skins, right? So skins that have got the organization's, like, logos, names, whatever on them. Okay? And the rumors that came out was that EA was saying to them, "We're giving you a flat rate. So if we make $1 million off your skin, you get a you will still get this flat rate regardless. You don't get no percentage of that. We will pay you $1,000, for example, if we make $10,000 or $1 million off your skin. We'll pay you that $1,000, right? That's how a flat rate works, in case anybody didn't know, right? What the orgs are trying to get is that EA will basically pay them a percentage. So I would argue it's probably started at like 10%, maybe, or 20%, depending on how greedy some of the orgs are. And the argument that's currently being had, as Madness basically puts it in here, is like they're unable to reach a fair agreement with orgs revenue splits and want to do a flat rate because people will want to buy team skins to support the orgs, and it seems EA wants all the profit, which is basically dime a dozen when it comes to EA, let's face it. He says here, also, because this was released after Team Liquid dropped their Apex, well, didn't drop it, they basically allowed them to seek other options because Team Liquid is withdrawing from Apex. He says, also, fuck any org that drops a well-performing roster just because they can't create profits on paying their players. So, obviously, what in this whole negotiations with EA is probably a case of Liquid was like, I'm just assuming, by the way, and it's probably the same for a bunch of other of the orgs as well. So we pay our players this much, and we project that you'll probably earn this much. Like, we pay our players 10,000 each. I don't think it is that much, but let's say it is. That's 30,000. We think you're gonna at least hit 60,000. We want 50% of revenue shares. Boom. Like, EA says, yeah, boom. That's it, done, sorted. The orgs are fine with it, right? As it says here, Madness actually states that their average salary in Apex is actually about 3k, so it's different. You know what I mean? And your profit is, quote, exposure, was what it was saying. And so somebody piped up to Madness and says, as a content creator, how can you say this? Would you like brands to come to you about pushing their stuff and offer to pay you in exposure? It's not only players that orgs pay a salary to, right? So I've decided to pipe up, you know, understanding exactly how the whole currency situation with sponsorships and shit works. It says, exposure is the currency that a sponsorship is buying when they offer you a sponsorship, right? So if you think about it, if somebody, let's say I've got a Razer mouse in my hand right now, right? If Razer wanted to partner with me and sponsor me, they would offer me money to say I use a Razer mouse and I enjoy it, and this is the reasons why, and blah 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 blah, and just basically hype the fuck out of the mouse, right? The currency that they get back from that is I am exposing the fact that I use a Razer mouse and I enjoy it and all the good things about it that I, you know, would have said when I went blah 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 blah, right? And that drives sales from people who watch my content and see that I use it. Do you know what I mean? They'll go, oh, well, Trek uses a Razer mouse. I'll use a Razer mouse. Boom, go and buy a bunch, right? If I was, you know, of a size where Razer would want to, as an example. I'm just using it as an example anyway.
Yeah.
So that is the currency that they are buying. Razer is buying the exposure from me, right? So what do they pay me for that exposure with? Currency, right? Whether that be free products or you know, a fucking monetary lump sum in my bank account or PayPal or whatever, or shit to give away to help with promoting the product, whatever it is. Yeah, a sponsor needs to sell products, approaches content creators, agree a price, pay them. 90% of the time it's monetary, because obviously it's easier for them to just go, okay, we'll pay you 10 grand if you you know, expose our product and the fact that you enjoy using it and blah 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 to your community, and they'll tend to get that 10 grand plus interest back off the amount of people that will buy that product, right? Sponsor gets exposure leading to product sales. It's called, aka it's target marketing advertising, right? I am media qualified. I know how this shit fucking works. I've done social media marketing. I've done all this kind of shit. Yeah, I know how this works. This guy comes back at me saying shit, exposure doesn't guarantee money in the bank. No shit. Agreeing a payment split does. Yeah, but we're talking about a company that makes millions of dollars a year off of not just Apex but other games, and they're putting orgs into the game, and I'm telling you now, if it comes between me choosing to buy a normal Apex skin and a optic skin that I can put on any of my legends, or like any of my legend, like my guns in Apex Legends, I'm buying that Apex like optic skin. Do you know what I mean? You tell me for 21 legends I can get an optic skin for 21,000 Apex coins, I will fucking buy it. And that's expensive as shit. Yeah? Rather than buying one skin for like 2.5k. Bruh. Right, anyway. Top orgs paying teenagers absurd amount to click head of cash to click heads. They barely touch tournament winnings or streaming income, and don't only have payers to keep fed every month. Someone sounds jealous, for one, that they are not a pro player. So which I responded with, your argument was that Madness as a content creator wouldn't like it if a sponsorship approached him offering to pay in exposure. I simply corrected you by stating the fact which it is in that transaction between sponsor and creator, the creator is the one giving exposure and therefore would not trade for it, which is why creators get paid for sponsorships, because they offer a service that sponsors need to get exposure on their product, which they are trying to sell. They are not giving the creator any exposure. They are simply acknowledging that the creator has an audience. He also responded here, blah 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 blah. If you want to go and fucking watch it, go watch it. Go read it even. You can find it on my Twitter, like, you know, recent things. Madness obviously responded to him as well here. Like, look, You're literally arguing with me, but literally agreeing with my statement. But yeah, he insinuating an org should be content with a multi-billion-dollar company offering exposure as a payment is a joke. The idea that players give orgs exposure and not the other way around is a joke. To which I responded with, I will put this simply since you don't seem to understand. Liquid, the creators in this example, getting offered exposure by EA, the sponsorship in this example, is stupid. Yes. Liquid provide the exposure to their fans from other endeavors because they're not just in Apex, and they also have content creators that play other games, right? As a currency to their sponsors who pay money. But Liquid also offers that exposure to their players in return for the exposure that the players can bring by repping the Liquid branding, right? So you think about it, if I was to get signed by Liquid tomorrow as a content creator, my content would probably blow the fuck up, right? Because there's going to be a whole bunch of Team Liquid fans that are going to be like, oh, who's this new content creator? Come and watch him, right? And then later down the line, let's say I make some banging ass video and there's people who've never heard of Team Liquid, but like I've seen that video, then they find out coming to watch me, oh, he's part of Team Liquid. Oh, let me check out Team Liquid. Boom. That was the argument that I had. There's a symbiotic relationship there between creator and organization. That's not a sponsorship. And so, you know, EA's I was basically telling him EA's in the fucking wrong, and he's trying to argue a fact that Madness and myself are, like, he's trying to say, as Madness put, you're literally arguing with him, and obviously he was also arguing with me, but you're agreeing with all of my statements. Like, you are literally arguing with me, but you're agreeing with everything I'm saying, you bloody idiot, is essentially what this whole, like, section here was about. And so the reason I wanted to include this is to sort of, because obviously we talk about things on the podcast that, with regards to like creators and like helping people get into content creation as a space, is we've had this thing before, it was like, know your worth, right? When it comes to sponsorship, don't just turn around and go, oh, right, well, I'm be an affiliate of every fucking, you know, Fiend made this mistake and obviously regretted it and has talked about it to us that he has regretted it, right? With regards to Beam.
Yeah.
He brought people to Beam that bought products. Hell, you don't even drink the product and you bought 2 shakers, did you not?
Yeah. I mean...
Right? To support your friend in an endeavor with regards to a sponsor. Right? Yeah. So that was my point in bringing this onto the podcast is know the difference between a sponsorship in that, like, someone like Team Liquid or Optic aren't necessarily ever going to sponsor you, right? If they're going to sponsor you, it's going to be in a situation like you're a pro player for a team that isn't signed and that they are looking at potentially signing you. They want you to go to an event so they can see how well you do, and then if you do well, they'll sign you. Then they might sponsor you and say, here's your flight money, and go to the event. That's like the closest thing you'll ever get with regards to an org. But when it comes to an actual sponsor, you don't need them to turn around and go, all right, well, we'll pay you this flat rate and then we'll promote you on our site here, there, and fucking everywhere, and that'll be the rest of your payment, exposure. Right? Because that's actually stupid. So I was basically just bringing it as a know your worth, know the difference between a sponsorship. We talked about this with Fiend before, difference between sponsorship, affiliate, and a partnership. Partnership will tend to be it'll be basically a sponsorship, but they'll give you free shit. Sponsorship is they'll give you money for you saying our product or service is very good, and then an affiliate is you have to work your arse off and you get a percentage of everything that you sell, essentially. That's the easiest way that I can summarize them. If you have a different way of doing that, Kit, then feel free to add to that.
Yeah, it's just that most affiliate ships are sort of similar to commission, because a lot of them are commission based, where like you get people to buy a product from that company, and that company rewards you with a part of that sale. The sponsorship is usually they pay you to do something, sort of like a rental or a hire. Right? So that could be, you know, we want you to play in this event, so we'll pay you flights to wherever the event is.
Yeah.
We'll give you a little bit of spending money to, like, you know, so like when you're spending time outside of the event, but like
you've got hotel room, you've got
hotels,
you've got like room service. We'll pay all that.
Yeah. And then the partnerships are, well, similar to any other partnership. Like if you think, even if you think like a civil partnership, they're usually a lot more closer to equal weight and sort of beneficial for both parties.
Yeah. But like for me, for example, a partnership like with Razer, again, I'm using them as an example because I do have Razer products in front of me, right? Razer probably would never want to pick up somebody of my size for one, but let's say they did, then
partnership.
yeah, but let's say they did, like I know, email me tomorrow. Well, we want to pick you up for a partnership. We're going to put you in our creator section on our website. Yeah, boom. There is part in parcel my payment, in a sense of there is a bit of an exposure there to where people can go, oh, I know this guy. He uses Razer products. I've seen him on the Razer website, right? But at the same time, that wouldn't be the only payment, because it would be a case of like something along the lines of, all right, anytime your mouse breaks or your Tartarus, just give us a call, boom, it'll be replaced. You'll have a new one in the post next day. Do you know what I mean? That is a partnership. And it's not a case of, all right, we have a new one in the post next day and you have to pay us the £88 for the Tartarus or the £130 for the mouse. Yes, I have two things on my desk that are £200 by themselves. I mean, if you have a partnership with a company...
That's thinking about the combined total.
This is the thing. It made me think about my
stand monitors, keyboard.
It made me think about my PC that I've just built. You imagine, right? You had let's say tomorrow I got a partnership with AMD, and then my PC packs up. That's a £200 fucking processor on its way to me. You know what I mean? That kind of thing is a partnership, because you benefit, because anything that you already use is either replaced with the product of your brand that you are partnered with. So let's say I used a Logitech mouse and then I got a partnership with Razer. Razer would send me a Razer mouse. I would basically get free reign of the Razer website to pick what mouse I would like. That would basically be what they would say, and then they'd send it me, because my job is in the partnership to promote their product. But I can't very much say, oh, I really like this mouse, if I don't fucking use one.
Yeah.
Same within the situation where the example I just gave with regards to a processor. I can't very much say I like my AMD processor if I'm using an Intel one.
No.
But yeah, moving on. We obviously talked about fucking Apex in here because Graceful here and Madness are both pro players in the Apex scene. We'll move on to a recent controversy, if you will, within the Apex community, where
I don't understand.
Respawn has announced that they are changing some of the skin. So this skin
when
here.
when I first read, or when I seen like the reactions to it and stuff, I thought it was a lot more different.
Yeah. So
Than it is.
here's the current look of the event skin that we have in Apex. Right. There's a recent event. We had this good-looking flatline skin. Everybody thought, oh yeah, this is gonna have like the pay-to-win skin. And it was too bulky. People turned around and went, "Oh shit, no! Don't waste your cash. Don't waste your points on it. Don't. It's dog shit. It's just like a normal skin. It's in fact in some places it's more bulky." And so they changed it to where it's not as bulky, but it's still, you know, it's about average. It's about the same as a normal, fucking, flatline skin. Now, the reason you don't really understand it, Kit, is because of the fact that they have used the wrong pictures, or not included the right pictures, because the Revelations flatline skin is this one, but the Heatsink skin isn't in these pictures, right? And that is the one that people are upset about, because you paid for a battle pass, you had to get all the way to the end of the battle pass to unlock this skin. Now this is what it currently looks like right here. You can see it's a lot like open, a lot more open and free, and you can see more, which is why it's referred to as a pay-to-win skin.
Yeah.
Then you go down, and this is what they're going to do to it when the new event comes out next week. And it's, you know, a lot more bulky, you can see a lot less, and therefore people are like, well, I want a refund on my battle pass or whatever. Like, people are arguing that they should get the option to replace what they've basically lost. Now, the argument is that, you know, some of them. So I heard no Coco Puffs.
That difference that I look at there, compared to all of the other skins, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at this from someone who doesn't play the game much.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have this skin, and didn't pay to get this skin, right?
Yep. I don't even have Heatsink. It's from season pass. It's from the season pass for season 4.
So,
and we're in season 14.
What I would
took
say
10 seasons.
Is that looks less to me like a redesign of the skin, and more like a texture fix. Like that was supposed to be there and wasn't. Rather than oh yeah, we've got a skin with this hole.
That's where I was going with. Before the podcast, when I was like having food, I was watching Cody, right? Because he's playing with No Coco Puffs, and honestly, No Coco Puffs is one of the people that inspire me to do I wanted to do a series like what I'm doing now with Apex, and it was because of No Coco Puffs. But then I was like, well, if somebody's looking for that kind of content, they're going to go to No Coco Puffs as well as other people. Because I just like put it off and didn't do it. And then watching like Sparky and them play kind of made me go, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway, because there might be people that will see No Coco Puffs video and not understand everything he says, and I can put it in a maybe I can put it in an easier to digest way to understand, like make it so that they can actually understand it. So they were discussing it, and it was like, so one of the things that Noko said was some of the pay-to-win skins, as they're referred to, for like the Wingman and the R99, you can just straight up buy in the like Legends, like in the guns section in the menu, like of the skin, right? If you wanted to go and buy a skin for the R9, I could name you 2 that you should buy because they are referred to as the pay-to-win skin, right? This one was a battle pass one, so you know it's not able to get anymore. Now, there is a recolor of it, apparently, in the files, and that's why they reckon that this has come about, is because Respawn have gone, okay, well, we need to change this, because if anybody doesn't buy the recolor, then, you know, again, we're going to be in a situation where they can't get this skin anymore. Now, Cody made a valid argument, which is that this was Season Pass 4. Right? This is Season 4. So you're talking 10 seasons ago, because we're in Season 14 now, and when every season lasts 3 months, you're talking what? Basically 2 years ago. Right? Just over.
Yeah.
It was really, really close to the beginning of the life cycle of the game, is the point, right? And the argument is that Cody made is, why is it taking them this long? So now you saying from an outsider's, it looks like it was a rendering thing and it should have been there in the first place and they just fixed something. It's like, yeah, it does look like that, but at the same time, again, as Cody said, why has it taken it so long?
A long time to do it, yeah.
So at that point, you should have just gone, fuck it, we'll leave it as it is.
Yeah.
All I can say is, if anybody is bothered about this, you watch Apex, you play Apex, and you think people are bothered about this, and it actually makes that big of a difference. Because to me, I don't use this skin because I don't have it, but if I did use this skin, I don't think it would make that much of a difference, because all it would mean is I can't see their body in my iron sight. Like, do you know what I mean? It feels a lot... Yeah, there's a little bit bulkier here where my mouse is, and, you know, there's only like a little poke thing there as well, but there's a little less bulkier, but it's still pretty much the same. Is if you've got that much of a problem with it, try the Champion Edition skin or the recolor that came a couple weeks back with the recolor of the Champion Edition skins for Crypto and Revenant. You had to buy the Revenant bundle to get that skin, like the recolored Champion Edition Flatline skin. I have it. If you want to watch it, like see me use it, then come and let me know, and when I'm streaming Apex, then I'll show it you. But honestly, it's basically the same as this skin, so there you go. Moving on. Run in opposite directions to see who your dog loves more. What?
Don't know why. That's not what was linked, I don't think.
No idea.
What's the next step across? Because that's another Twitter one.
Moving along to...
Yeah, I think that's the one that we're supposed to be going to, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why that other one was open then.
No, neither do I.
So, he discussed... Salt Grepo was on about how Divinity should be nerfed. Now, we've had this before. Fucking... I think Glad mentioned it before. Yeah. And basically got shit on for it, right? And
this one's just a massive long thread about like the ways you could change Div without it just like immediately instantly nerfing it to the ground.
For me, I like the fact
why it should be changed.
Right. So I get their reasoning for wanting it changed. Yeah. If you get someone like Clan Elysium, which Salt is part of, going up against someone like Math Class or fucking Redeem, or anybody else that's like a PvE top tier group, yeah, then Divinity, like one of you deciding to use Divinity and the rest of the groups deciding not to, can be the difference between you getting World's First and not, right, when it comes to a raid raid. Right? But at the same time, I would argue that Divinity is not used by like 90% of the fucking community for a reason. Because of other than its debuff, it is dog shit. Right? And even then, when it is used outside of its debuff, it's for like Grandmasters, which is just artificially inflated difficulty by adding champions to strike.
Yeah.
And the reason it's used there is because you can have a overload weapon. Divinity has intrinsic overload. But then when you get to the boss, you've got the debuff bubble that allows you to do more damage, therefore meaning you can get through the strike faster, therefore meaning, guess what? You get your rewards faster, and you can farm faster. So of course somebody will at some point go, do you know what, fuck it, I'll use Div.
Yeah.
But for the most part, every raid I've ever been part of, it has been, even back when I was in fucking Legion of Forsaken on Xbox, it has been the Sherpa or somebody who is predetermined by the Sherpa running the fucking Div to make it easier for like the team.
And that's the thing, is that somebody uses it specifically to make the targeting or whatever easier.
Yeah.
So
like for me, when I was in Legion, I would, whenever Hobo General called me into a party and was like, we're gonna be like Sherping this raid, I know you're good, let's go. It'd be like, okay, let me grab my Divinity, and he would either say, no, I've got so-and-so running Div, or no, I'm running Div, or he'd be like, okay, because he knows I have no problem running it. Because I know the reason that we run it is because, it, like you said, it makes it easier for people who are new to raiding.
Yeah.
To like hit a target. You don't have to turn around, like, for example, End of Garden Salvation. You don't have to turn around to maybe 3 new people who are going for a raid for the first time and say, look, you have to hit the white squidgy bit in the middle. You say, look, you see that big ass ball of like Vex energy around him? They go, oh yeah, there you go, you hit that. Also makes it easier because you don't have to force them onto snipers. You can say, look, use fucking fuck, I forget the solar LMG, Xenophage. Right? You can say use Xenophage, and then when it comes to doing everything else that's involved in that final fight in Garden of Salvation, they can use shotguns and fucking SMGs and auto rifles and pulse rifles, whatever they feel comfortable with, because Xenophage in that situation is their sniper, because the bubble from Divinity allows them to fucking hit crit, whereas if there was not a Divinity there, the bubble wasn't there, they would have to hit the squidgy bit, and you guess what? You can't crit with fucking Xenophage on that. Like, it's literally impossible because of the explosive round.
Yeah.
So personally, I think this is fucking stupid.
What he's saying is that for all of those reasons that you just outlined above, for raid teams that are comprised of people outside the top 3%, it's near essential to have a div.
Yeah.
And that if you've got a weapon that is in that position for so long, and what he's saying there with things like Whisper of the Worm, is that you would normally just aim and you would have to land your crits to get the most out of the weapon.
Yeah.
To get all of its extra damage and stuff. Whereas if you just spam it at a div, you're not going to do that because it doesn't work properly with that weapon. So you end up kicking other weapons out of places where they could be used by making it easier for other people to land shots to begin with.
But at the same time, if you look at like DPS, like comparisons between a div team and a non-div team on and then, let's say the non-div team is using Whisper, the likelihood is the Whisper is probably going to have more DPS.
Yeah.
Depending on what other weapons they're using.
Yeah. But that's what I said. That's what I said. It's like if you can repeatedly land all of your shots in the crit spot to get near optimal DPS out of the Whisper, is the example. Obviously, you don't need the crit spot from the div, so you can have another person running that weapon.
Yeah.
So you will end up with higher DPS at the end of it. Which is why the article there, that sort of references and stuff, is on elitism and gatekeeping.
Yeah.
In that, well, first of all, in order to even have Divinity, you've got to run Garden. It was Garden, wasn't it, with the quest on it?
Yeah, Garden, the quest line. The final part of it, you have to run a full Garden. You can't leave and come back. If you do, somebody in your team has to stay in the raid and then invite, everybody back in.
Everyone back in, yeah.
You have to do all of the puzzles. Let's say your servers go off or everybody's internet just magically goes out. So you all get kicked from the raid. You have to start from the beginning. Like the puzzles that you have to do, some of them are quite fucking difficult. Like it's not easy to get it.
No.
So the people who have got it and are using it are probably the equivalent, if not like slightly below. They're probably inside the top 10% instead of the top 3%.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that if for the majority of people, let's say everyone from the bottom up to let's say the bottom 80% of people, so everyone outside the top 20% would need somebody on their raid team with a div to get the most effective run, make it easy enough for them to actually do the encounters, for those, particularly the boss fights usually. That then means that anyone who's in that group who can't get somebody who's in the top 10% to run it with them, who has got div, then they're being sort of gate kept out of that encounter because they don't have somebody that they can run it with who has divinity.
Exactly. I need to get a fucking team together to run all the fucking raids, to be honest. Because I'm sorry, but like back when I was running raids like every day in Legion of Forsaken, it was amazing. And helping people with, like, ideal example, right? As somebody who was a Sherpa in Legion of Forsaken, and to the extent of, obviously they know that I have like the knowledge of the raids that are in Destiny 2 now that aren't like haven't been released since Beyond Light, basically, right? So they probably know, that like if I was to go in there and go, look, I'll Sherpa evolve, they probably know, yeah, you could probably do it if he's saying he'll do it because of the fact that it's an old raid. The same with like King's Fall, but at the same time, there obviously are differences in those two raids since they came to P2, right? But if I was to go in and go, I'll help with Sherpa in a vow, they don't know that I can do it. You know what I mean? But if I was to turn around and go into this Legion of Forsaken Discord and say, I'll Sherpa a Deepstone Crypt, I can almost guarantee you that they will turn around and say to anybody who needs a Deepstone Crypt, they'll at them and go on, go with Trap. And when they go, who the fuck is this Trap guy? They'll turn around and go, he used to be one of our Sherpas. He knows what he's doing. And now he's on PC, so, he's going to be able to do it even better. Like, Hobo General basically said I was one of the fastest learners when it came to all the raids that we had back in Season of Arrival. Like,
yeah.
ideal example that I had not done any of the Destiny 2 raids at the time, right? I did Eater of Worlds, Leviathan, Spire of Stars, and Scourge within the first week. And had the knowledge of those raids where I was helping him teach others. And that's why he put me forward to being one of the Sherpas in the clan. And then all I had to do was learn Last Wish and Garden, and then I could and get a completion on Crown, and then I would get the opportunity to, like, once I'd learned all the roles in each of the fights, I'd get the opportunity to Sherpa a raid and go from there. Which obviously I did. I did it on Leviathan, and it's funny because the team, I had two of the people that I Sherpa'd through Leviathan, I had on my Eater of Worlds team, which was my first ever raid.
Yeah.
So obviously I was able to play more than them, but at the same time I learned so fast and got confidence enough to do the next raid in the sequence so fast. I was able to be Sherpering the people doing their second raid in the list by the time they hit that, which is like I don't know, about a month later. And then my actual, like, one that I got qualified was I Sherpa'd them same two through a Scourge of the Path. And I'd switched at that point to being a Warlock main, and I surprised Hobo and a couple of the other Sherpas with the fact that I had switched to Well, so I could have healing grenades, so I could keep the person who I was Sherpering alive. They were like, no other Sherpa had done that. You know what I mean? Like, so...
Yeah.
The fact is that those of us that are, you know, decent are able to help others. Just because we aren't, you know, able to do these, like, low man challenges or whatever. Like, my whole thing, like, since I've been on PC as well, whenever anybody says, like, how good are you at Destiny? It's like, well, I solo flawless Pit of Heresy and Prophecy at 30 FPS. And they're like, what? What do you mean? I played on console and I solo flawless Pit of Heresy and Prophecy. Now I'm playing at 130, 140 FPS. Do you want to contest? So,
yeah.
I think a case in point as well is, like, when me and you were helping Fiend go through, like, Pit of Heresy, when I first started, like, moving over to PC.
Yeah.
I was playing on GeForce Now, right?
Yeah, you were.
The
Don't miss that.
Yeah, the difference between, like, me having the knowledge of Pit of Heresy because I'd solo flawless it, and obviously you having done it but not, like, even attempted solo flawless or anything like that, and Fiend having never touched the dungeon at all because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, was, I would like to think, was a bit obvious.
Yeah.
And the fact I was saying, like, okay, like, I'll do this. You Kit, just make sure that Fiend survives because you were on Warlock, I think, at the time.
Yeah, I think that was after my switch to Warlock.
And no, I think he was just, like, trying out Warlock about seeing what I was doing in the raid when we was on Xbox. Anyway, beside the point, right? So I essentially, between, even if you was on Hunter, you was, like, on Smoke Hunter or something he was able to keep him alive. Was my point, right? So
Yeah.
overall, I would say like, oh, just keep Fiend alive, and I'll do everything, right? And we got through it. Like we did it. Like that's not a, oh right, well I'm much better at fucking Pit than Fiend, like fuck him kind of thing. That's a anybody needs help, I'll help kind of thing. You know what I mean? If you want to learn how to do it, you can learn how to do it. Fiend didn't want to learn how to do it. He had no plans to go through the Pit again. He just wanted to get Xenophage. So we got him Xenophage.
Yeah.
And then we went through the rest of the dungeon just purely to get him gear so that he could level up. But that was all he was interested in. So he didn't want to learn. So what's the point of me saying, right, this is what you do for this counter? You know what I mean? You already knew what you were doing. You already knew what I would be doing. When I turned around to you, you said, just keep him alive, I'll do everything. So what's the point in just fucking around? Right.
I'm just marveling at this image. That screenshot of the divinity is at 941.
Right.
We're now in the 1570s.
Bad. But yeah, I honestly, when I saw it, I turned around and went, I'm not being funny. This is fucking elitism and shit. I completely agree. And then there's also been people who have commented that like divinity helps with some people who raid who are disabled. It's as an accessibility tool. If I'm using divinity and I can make sure that I can keep that bubble on the target, and the person who is in my fire team that is unfortunately disabled, for however they are disabled, if they can hit that bubble rather than a tiny ass fucking crit spot, then why should it be nerfed? It shouldn't. Like, that makes it accessible, allows people to actually run the raid. And if you are going to sit at the top of the community as somebody who runs World's First and actually has the opportunity to win them, which Salt, as we saw, has in his bio, World's First, King's Fall D2, Vow of the Disciple, and Vogue D2, second for Deep Stone Crypt, right? You're gonna sit at the top of the community and say, oh well, those that are disabled that shouldn't be raiding anyway. Then you are going to get cancelled, for one, and for two, a piece of shit. Which isn't necessary. That isn't what he's saying. But if somebody is trying to say that, and that's why you want Divinity nerfed, then my guy, don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you won't last. Alright, that being said,
And
the
with
podcast,
that, we are out of topics.
yeah, is over,
And
done
time.
with. We've been out of time for like 10 minutes. I should have gone and got my daughter to go to bed.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to quickly wrap us up. Thank you very much for watching / listening on the podcast platforms. Kit has the hosting with the podcast platforms been
so
sorted.
should be sorted out now. Yeah.
There you go. So if you are listening to this, you already know that that's sorted.
I'll keep a close eye on it in case it happens again. Just make the tweaks as and when they're required.
There you go. Kit also has. You still have your website up, right? With like the.
Yes, I'm in the
link.
process of moving it a bit. So
Okay.
the site is the site is up at the old place, but the new version of it isn't up yet. It's almost there. I just need to make it all make sure all the links are pointing to the right place.
Okay. Well, with that being said, keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're following twitch.tv/enraged Kitsune, because whenever he's live, if you have any questions about that kind of thing, then you can ask him.
You can also get there quicker, and I love the fact that I've done this. So you know my emote prefix?
Yeah.
So in my channel, if someone sub to me and they use my emotes, the emote prefix is enraged37.
Yeah.
Like the number 37. So if you want to get to my channel really quick, and you don't want to be typing out all of that, full username and everything, you can just use enrage37.live, and it'll bring you to my channel.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So mine would be Entrep13.
If we did one, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go and get that tomato point. It's unfortunate that it's not just a thing that Twitch do for us. That would be quite nice if it was.
It would be nice. Anyway, with that being said, we are going to.
That's how you can find us.
Yeah, you can end. We'll end the podcast right there. Thank you very much for watching and listening. As Kit just said, you know that the hosting for the listening is working because you're listening to it. And if at any point you notice, like, let's say you do follow me on, or subscribe to me on YouTube, and you see an episode up on there, but you're like looking at Spotify and it isn't available, do like reach out to myself or Kit, and if you reach out to me, I will talk to Kit and say, look, what's going on. If you reach out to Kit, he'll find out what's going on and fix it. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you want the more direct line, go to Kit. But I'm just saying, if I am here if you need me. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye for now.